Scott, welcome to Edgware and Kingsbury's Off the Record. This is an opportunity where you can give us a little bit of a progress report on how things are going since arriving at the club. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Ben Killner. I am the reserve team coach and manager, and I've been asked to put a few questions to Scott. Just a little bit of an intro, Scott. How many games have you been in charge? And really, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like since taking over at Edgware?
Yeah, of course. I think there were a few raised eyebrows when I took the job, if I'm honest. I think a lot of people thought Edgware were down. You know, it was a job hiding to nothing, I think a lot of people said to me. Yeah. But in fairness, that's the challenge I like. I looked at it. I've been watching teams in this league all season, really. And I just felt, you know, that there wasn't much to worry about. If I'm truthful, I felt with the right infrastructure, with the right players, you know, I could possibly turn them around. My first game it wasn't really my first game. I don't want to claim it, but I went to watch them at Harefield, and they got absolutely drummed. You know, I have to say, by a very, very good Harefield team that I think, personally, I think will definitely be in the playoffs and could be one of the contenders to go up. So I that's nothing really to be embarrassed about. You know, I mean, the scoreline wasn't great, and then I went into my first game, which was Wallingford at home, and they were one in this little group of teams that, you know, we needed to beat, really.
Sure, yeah.
And as I say, we were 1-0 up. We were absolutely gliding. We were doing really well. And yeah, let a goal in late on. If I'm truthful, I'm quite an honest manager. I think we probably deserved to win it, if I'm truthful. But you know, it wasn't to be on the day. But I think that gave us a little bit more belief.
Yeah, sure.
I think we had, probably no more than me, I think we had 15 points when I took over. So to get another point, I set everyone a target. You know, I jokingly said to them, you know, that until it's mathematically not possible, we should be looking to try and get playoffs. Mm-hmm. Everyone thought I was crazy, and obviously I'm doing it tongue in cheek. But if they're focusing on sure. that, they're not focusing on the teams around them. So,
but if you're looking up, that's hopefully where you're going to go.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know, and it also takes a little bit of the pressure off the boys as well. So made a couple of new additions, got some good players in, started to tick a little bit. Then unfortunately we had a loss at Burnham. Got to be truthful with you, it was probably a lot of back office, back scenes that caused that the preparation wasn't right at all. I'm into my preparation. So, so a good Burnham side beat us, you know, comfortably beat us as well. We never really had a chance. Then we went on this little run, really. We beat Berks County, which was a big win for us.
That's massive, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know, no disrespect for the teams, but Wembley and Berks County are the games that if we win our games in hand, we can go above. So it sort of, not only did we beat them, but it was another game that we were still behind them.
Sure.
You know, so
clean sheet as well.
Clean sheet, which I think was by the way, only the second clean sheet of the season. Incredible. We then went to Hilltop, and I don't think the Hilltop boys will mind saying that in the first 20 minutes we could have been 4 or 5-0 up. You know, we dominated the game, and then again you just saw that belief. Because we didn't take our chances, the players, you could see just going within themselves.
Yeah. And so here we go again scenario, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, lost that game. And then we went into Ardley away. And it was the first time that I really think I got what I class as like a Patmore performance. You know, it was all guns blazing, going at them. The belief was there. The dedication was there. We beat Ardley 2-0, who were sitting 9th at the time, you know.
It's a great result.
It was really good. And the feel-good factor came back at that point, you know. And we took that into Saturday's game at British Airways. And again, dominated and got another 2-0 back-to-back, clean sheets, back-to-back wins, which puts us off the bottom. And it's the first time we've been off the bottom since, I think, end of September, early October. So it just gives the lads a little bit more belief, you know. Obviously, we're meeting today. We were meant to play Egham tonight, which has been called off. Probably a blessing for me, if I'm honest, because, you know, I'd like to keep the run going and the belief going.
Egham a good side, aren't they?
Yeah, you don't really want to be going to Egham or you know, or Amersham and Bedfont, who are the three that seem to be running away with it at the moment. But yeah, it's you know, it's really hard work, Ben. I know you do the reserves, but it's hard work. You know, it takes a lot of hours. You know, we haven't got a game tonight, so I've said obviously it's too late to get them into training, but I'll be going to watch a game somewhere. So It's hard.
It's relentless, isn't it?
It is, yeah, totally relentless.
So you mentioned on the pitch side things are starting to improve and belief's good, but what's the mood like in the dressing room at the moment?
It's good. I mean, it has to be good. It's not. We're not where I want to be at all. We're probably, if I'm honest with you, we're probably just at 50% as a maximum, I'd say, of the belief. You know, but you know what it's like. Momentum is everything. So it's. I said to you when I had that first ever interview when I turned up. I believe it's all about mindset. If you get your players to believe and you get them to work harder than anyone else, you've got a chance of winning games. Yeah. So that's all I focus on. So at the moment, we're off the bottom. It's like another little notch. I talk to people about notches on the bedpost. That's where we are. Yeah, it's a little mini league at the bottom there, isn't there? You've got to try and get to be number one. 100%. Yeah.
So, what specifically pleased you about some of the performances of the team so far?
As a manager, I've got the utmost belief in myself. That's what I'd say. So I always believe that I can achieve what I set out to do.
Sure.
Right, and it's just watching. It's a word I used the other day. Embryonic. It's a great word, right? But that's what we are. It's about. I turn up. You have a set of players, and every manager's got a different choice and every manager sees things differently.
Yeah.
But it's just getting the players that want to play my way, that will abide by the standards. That's what I talk about all the time, is about standards of everything. On off the pitch, it's all about standards. But it's watching. It's interesting to see. I have a squad of players. That first Harefield game, squad of players. Some players didn't want to play. Some players have fallen out with managers and the club and the facilities, and everyone's got it could be the socks. People, what players are like. They find something to whinge about, and it's just wheedling those out. It's wheedling the players out. Moving them on. Thank you, but you're not part of the solution, and just getting new players in that fit what you want. And if you have more than, it's really great, because my job is just getting people into that. It's like spinning plates. And once you've got a player that's spun and is spinning, he'll help other players spin.
Sure. I suppose the new players coming in also don't have the mindset of that losing mentality, and it is a losing mentality. It's like a winning mentality. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's about, can you get the players to believe in the fact of momentum and having that positive mindset, and about, as you said earlier, I'm working really, really hard. Without that, it's very difficult to get out and perform for 90 minutes on a football field.
Yeah, and I believe. Listen, football. I've always said this, Ben. Football has got an unbelievable place in the society, in the world.
Sure.
For that 90 minutes, if you're having trouble at home, if you're having trouble with your kids, trouble with your wife, trouble at work, trouble with money, you forget about it for those 90 minutes, and it's such a release. Why would someone want to go out and not perform? That's what I try and install them. But you're right, the players that are coming in, they've got no preconceived ideas. So it's much easier to get a player to work with how you want to, rather than how they think they want to work,
Yeah, that's true. So in the short term, getting the team to a position of safety is obviously your primary priority. But in addition, is there anything you're looking for or to achieve to help Edgware going forwards?
That's a question, isn't it?
It's a big one.
It is, yeah. I would say to you that my focus is on. My focus is only on doing my very best to keep Edgware in the league. That is my 100% focus.
Yeah.
Now, I think there are clubs that maybe feel a little bit let down by Edgware in the past. I think you've got to build bridges with those clubs, and when you get a new manager, it's quite a. What's the word? I wouldn't say I'm aggressive, but I'm quite I'm quite a forefront manager. I'm quite there. I'll tackle anything I need to tackle.
Sure.
And I think you can sort of have a, they say a new broom, can't you? It sweeps everything away. So I think clubs are loaning us players. Clubs are wanting to work with Edgware, which is good. So long term, that's definitely what needs work on.
Yeah.
But it's just about, as I say. But I listen sometimes. I listen to other people, and I listen to you've got a low block, you've got an inverted winger, you've got. I mean, mate, there's a place for it. There's an absolute place for it, and you got to remember, you're talking to me, and I've said this over and over again to whoever wants to listen. I believe there's coaches and I believe there's managers, right? I think you need a good coach, but a good coach doesn't make a good manager, and a good manager doesn't make a good coach. So I can talk tactics with my team. You know, I've got a good team around me, and I can talk tactics with them, and they can train the people. I don't get involved in training. You know, my job is to motivate those players, is to make those players think that they're going to win a game.
Yeah,
that's half the battle. So yeah, I think you can make football. You can make it a much harder job than what it really is, you know?
I always say football's an art form and we try and make it a science.
Spot on. And that's it. So I go back to it. All I look at is standards. You know, that's the standards. And I say to players sometimes, if someone has a game, I say, right, you've raised your standard now. That's where you need to play next week.
Minimum. Yeah, absolutely. Can you give us a little bit of information about the character of the players currently in the dressing room?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's good. It's good. I rely on a couple of lads. I probably won't name them, but I rely on a couple of lads that weren't mine, that I've met since I'm there, you know. You know the lads. You know the lads that are the first on the group that say, oh, listen, anyone... I mean, the best thing I've got is, you know, anyone need lifts? I mean, you know, we've had a couple of Tuesday night games. You know, as I say, today was Egham. Yeah, but if anyone need lifts, I can be there. I can pick you there.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it's really nice. Do you know what I mean? And if someone, you know, isn't like that's more important to me than being a really good player. I'm not into these maverick players, you know. I want a player that's part of a team.
But I think you're going to need players that have got characters to get out of the position you're in currently.
Absolutely.
So if you've got those kind of people that are prepared to say, I'll dig in, I'll help out, you need that sort of trench mentality, isn't it?
You do. And listen, and if you've got players that but the other thing is, which is really weird, is I've got some very senior players that have come since I've been here. You know, I'm thinking of one lad, you know, that's turned up, that's come from a pro club, and you know, I thought, oh, we're not going to keep him, we're not going to keep him, but he's just bought into it, and I joke with him all the time about how happy he is at the moment. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, step 5 is definitely not the place for him. He should be step 3, but where, you know, what's he going to do for the next 15 games? He's not going to try and get into a side, and you know, so it's like that. But ironically,
that you've locked him in the dressing room
100%, and I've taken his keys, but but he's part of us now. He really is part of us, and he's bantering and he's having the fun, and he's
good.
You know, and that's what you need. So
well, that's good. As I said, you're going to need that character to carry on the form and to get out of that position. So well, some may say that this next question is a bit of a loaded question, and of course they would be right. So how do you feel the relationship is building between the first team and the reserve team?
Oh, it's awful. No,
cut.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we work together, haven't we? So it definitely works. I mean, listen, I've the biggest issue that we've got. I mean, we'll talk about this on camera. The biggest issue we've got is the drop is just too much at the moment. You know, so if I was being honest, you know, if you've got a step 5 team, should have a minimum step 7, 8. You know, and I think you're 9 or 10.
I can't remember what the step is.
I know it doesn't go down to that.
It all changed a little bit now from last season, didn't it? So,
yeah. So it's hard. But listen, if someone wants to play in my first team, they need to go and play in the reserves if I ask them to. You know, and by the way, if it's an awful pitch, you know, and it's not the best referee standard, or
nothing.
or whatever it might be, they're getting 90 minutes. The whole thing at the moment is people don't understand. Minutes is everything. You know, I was talking to a lad yesterday who's at a step 3 club, not getting many minutes, and I said, well, come down and play for me. Oh, well, it's step 5. I said, what does that matter? Do you know what I mean? You get minutes because the step 3 club actually do fancy him, right? So if one of the people in his position gets injured, he's got to be the very best version of himself. Yeah. And he's only going to do that if he's match fit.
Absolutely. So, but I always find that ego attached to players where I can remember as a young lad, I just wanted to play football. Play football. And if I was given the opportunity, I'd come and take it. It doesn't mean you're separating from the other club. It just means that you're now, as you say, you're getting minutes under the belt and you're getting match sharpness, match fitness, all those things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Ben, you're showing your age because actually now, you know, I think especially the young kids want to be at an academy that's got a name, so they get the tracksuit and the bag. It's not helping their progression. So
No,
you know.
no, it's not. But so from a reserve team manager's point of view, since you've come in, I felt that the communication channels have been really open. I've been able to be really honest with you and say I've got 3, 4, 5, 6 players that are showing real potential that might want to come along, and you've offered them opportunity to train. I know 2 or 3 of them have had the opportunity to actually play in the first team, which is fantastic. So from the reserve team perspective, it's really good because we're starting to see that progression going through in the proper pathway, which was not necessarily there previously in as bigger format.
No.
I've also, I said, been given the opportunity, or you've asked me to take 2, 3 players on occasions and give them minutes. And I think some of the reserve team lads have got to recognise that that's part of the reserve, being a reserve team. That sometimes the first team has come down and they're on the team sheet first. Tough luck. And it is really tough to take. But we've got a good, like I said, like you guys in the first team, we've got a good camaraderie within the group. And I'm able to take players to one side, explain the reasons, and you know, again, they're buying in. That culture is so important.
It is, and can I just say, I think as well, if you've got club players, so if a player signs for Edgware, he should want the reserves to do just as well as the first team.
100%.
So actually, if a player comes down, I would want one of your players to go, hang on, I've missed out because of that, so I need to be better. So it motivates your players. It you know, and like you say, that's how it works.
It's very true. And when I've had some of the first team guys come down, 2 or 3 have shown incredible character, and you know, they're proper leaders on the pitch, and they've shown some of the younger guys that we've got in the reserve team. You know, they've led, and that to me is really, really important, because of course when they go back and play in the first team, they take that forward, but also they leave something behind, a little bit of experience behind, which is fantastic.
Like I say, the only, you know, I'm not want to harp on about, the only issue we've got at the moment is that they go down, or not necessarily going down, because the players that go down are going to be good for you. The players coming up, if they're playing that standard on a Saturday, you just watch them, and there's no disrespect to them because they're all trying their best, but the sharpness is just not there because they don't need to do it week in, week out in the reserves.
The speed of step 5 is but I'll also say that then when you show that potential, if you're given the opportunity, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes at the end of the match, that speed, you get used to it.
You do.
And you need to be able to get used to it. There's no way you can come in at pace straight away anyway, no matter what level you're going to.
No, agree. Yeah.
Thank you once again. I think it's been really good. Hopefully, Edgware supporters will start to get. We'll have a few more of these chats over before the season ends. Good luck to you and the boys for Saturday. I was going to say Tuesday, but that's now off. So good luck for Saturday's match.
Virginia Water away.
And hope it goes well. And let's keep this momentum going, and let's get Edgware out of the relegation area and nice and safe in step 5.
That'd be great.
Good man. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.